Yeah, how's it going? Today's 3rd of January, Friday, and we're gonna be taking a look at the market and what kind of opportunities might be available up there. Today we have a very interesting video. There isn't many government press releases, right? And today's video might not be very positive, at least initially. We like to recognize what problems many people should focus on. But I thought let's do perhaps interesting twist while we be closing this video by taking a look at some of the startups available out there, right? So some of the startups, there are so many. I'm surprised how many people are starting companies, right? So we gonna be taking a look at perhaps three different startups. I haven't read any of the information, right? But perhaps that's the way how we're gonna be taking a look at. We're gonna begin by taking a look at three military contracts. From there, we're gonna be progressing perhaps some of the reshuffling when it comes to current UK's economy and perhaps performance. And from there, perhaps we're gonna be taking a look at, and just to close everything on a positive note, we're gonna be taking a look at startups and creating those opportunities for small teams. Everyone's very excited when I was let's take a look at what some of the people are doing out there. Let's begin by taking a look at some of the military contracts, right? Let's try to understand it. Potentially, we're taking a look at defense industry, right? Today, Italy gets that might be the name of the project, fighting vehicle for testing ahead of first contract. Okay. Let's try to understand it. That would be again, there is a private company has loaned a particular project tracked vehicle to the Italian arm to test. Italy prepares to sign a €500 million contract, massive contract, or 513 million for the first batch of vehicles by mid 2025. Okay. I thought they would be defining as preparedness level, no, not prepares for signing. Well, again, then we don't know any of this information is accurate, by the way. We don't know when it comes to some of these documents and what information will be published when it comes to military. There are some developments when it comes to UK as well, military. Usually, at least some of the articles or information I have read, usually it's about 20%, perhaps may or may not be true. Only 20% of all the article. By the way. Well, anyway, that really this project fighting vehicle has shipped on December 30 to the Italian army. Okay, there might be a name of facility near Rome where they'll be put through its pace by experts from the army and all from Italian defense giant Leonardo. Okay. I don't know the entire concept of this vehicle. It looks very similar to some of the projects that we have seen that was developed in Belgium. I have double checked it. It seems that some of this project's been developed in Belgium. But there's a lot of governments involved. Potentially, what information is available is that it's perhaps been developed. Prototype might be developed by one company, then it will be manufactured by another company, and then it will be delivered to another government. So there's a lot of things happening, right? Perhaps I can find picture of the Belgian based perhaps company who have developed very similar concept. And from there, so again, I don't know if we can cover everything in necessary detail and or trace it all the way back who was doing what, right? As it replaces all the vehicles and will keep up with the NATO requirements, Italy plans to acquire more than 1,000 new fighting vehicles based off perhaps German manufacturing, right? In a 15 billion program with the first to be delivered in 2 years. The Italian army will also buy 280 tanks based on perhaps German manufacturing under development of Panther Kiev 51 in the 8 billion euro program with the first tank planned to be delivered in 2.5 or 3 years, right? Let's take a look at next article. That could be something that was published yesterday. Serbia strengthens air defense with Chinese FK-3 missile system deployment. Uh, it's very right, perhaps particular right now. Perhaps very hard to acquire any of these systems, as well as prices. Right, would be important. It will be kind of bubble and how much of the range some of these air defense systems might be able to offer, as well as what would be those system capabilities. Was trying to find price for some of these systems. It's very hard to find price. What information is available is in dollars, so the information can be all over the place. As well as 4 years ago, there was similar project and or contract signed where they're discussing about purchasing of the system, as well as it was part of the larger contract. But if anything, more than likely, it's way cheaper compared to other systems. In comparison, that would be perhaps Patreon on OS 300, but again, there are S 400 and there are different parts of the systems, so it's very hard to find price. Usually, there is a bigger contract as well as more parts, right, of the contract. Anyway, the Serbian Ministry of Defense has deployed FK-3 air defense missile system, a Chinese development platform to enhance the nation's airspace protection capabilities with advanced systems, including command vehicles, rocket launchers, radars, and logistical vehicles, providing comprehensive solution for Serbia's air defense systems. Right. So I believe the definition would be battery, entire battery that will need command vehicle, one rocket launcher, two radar, three logistical vehicle, four. So potentially four moving pieces, right, that we are discussing. So it's very hard to measure some of those prices, as well as sometimes it could be depending on what would be required. I guess we're promoting defense, right? Anyway, let's regress. Let's take a look at the next article, right? Let's take a look at next article. That would be Saab receives Giraffe E4 radar order for United States Air Force in Europe. Okay, sure. That's Sweden. Okay. The way how it's written, it's very interesting. Because it's written by someone who is Swedish. Very interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, so that would be potentially part of the systems. It's something that we were just taking a look at moments ago. That would be radar potentially, but I don't know if some of those systems would be able to have part of the package. Can that be a radar that would function on some of the systems? Well, anyway, let's take a look at some of the prices, all those kind of things, right? As well as if you are interested, perhaps there might be some opportunities available, but you need to have, I don't know, what's entry level price. South has received an order from base systems in support for United States Air Force in Europe for multiple drop E or 4A radar systems. I don't know if it's United States, since previously we were taking a look at base systems they do have a lot of operations in United States, right? With the number of staff working there, but that potentially paying taxes. If they're paying taxes, that would be UK's, but they will have a number of different operations everywhere. The contract available value in approximately of 48 million. That's dollars, right? Or Swedish crown, I believe, or they might be pronounced different. Delivery will start in 2027. Giraffe, I love the name, so I had to say it. 4A will provide long-range surveillance and air-based air defense in a high-mobility package for United States Air Force in Europe. Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense, but anyway, we don't know all the details, right? And all the parties involved, and we're taking a look at very sensitive markets of defense and who going to be doing what, all those kind of things, right? As well as where some of the systems will be stationed. Anyway, that will have for a digital multi-channel system featuring the latest active electronically scanned array technology and will be delivered from Saab in US and or Sweden, right? Okay, okay, great. Let's take a look at what other information is available about that. Let's take a look at what's happening in UK, right? And that would be a lot of restructuring going on potentially, right? That would be over 17,000 stores to close in 2025 as business rates rise, right? More than 17,000 stores are set to close this year, upcoming year, right? So that's projection, right, of what all may or may not happen, right? Since retailers face higher costs following the current government's administration first physical budget, the Center for Retail Research warned it. So potentially we're taking a look at someone from United States, more or less, right? So we don't know if that's what happen. But if someone is interested in driving down the cost of uh, or they might be interested in purchasing a lot of empty stores. There's a market for it, right? If you're looking to invest, perhaps it's a good time to purchase. Forecast has the stores close will raise 30% to 17 or perhaps just over 7,000 in the next 12 months. A good time to invest in UK if you're interested, perhaps, but not necessarily good for current businesses. As well as we can take a look at next article. That would be what was happening, right? That would be 37 shops lost each day in 2024. So that was previous year. So every single day was 37 shops closing down potentially, but we don't know all the data, right? But it suggests what kind of stores of potentially we don't have this data, but anyway, almost more than 13,500 retail stores in the UK closed for good last year, equivalent to about 37 shops a day, new data has found. A brutal year for retail sector saw 28% closures than the 10,500 in 2023, according to the Center for Retail Research, right? I don't know. This is information that I'm reading. I don't know if it's accurate. I don't know the details. Perhaps there was a lot of restructuring going on, as well as I thought it might be worth taking a look at some of those companies who are buying a lot, right? So we are taking a look at what's happening potentially. A market is being squeezed, and let's see what else is happening, right? We're gonna be taking a look at I don't know how again all these articles that I'm reading that's potentially may or may not be happening, as well as there might be a lot of moves that a lot of companies are making, right? That was just an example of some of those companies are purchasing or investing in European logistical fund, potentially optimizing some of the systems, or perhaps if not, is that's what many people should be interested in optimizing, right? I know if they can, any insufficiencies should be reduced, right? As well as if that's European, perhaps you can take a look at similar funds might be interested in snapping up 1 billion, that would be pounds, of warehouses in a year. So potentially investing in warehousing for whatever reason, right? As well as there's additional information available. Well, again, I don't know how accurate that data is. Or some of those businesses agreed to 1 billion deal for European warehousing assets, right? So may or may not be happening, right? Since there might be a lot of investments, but similar investments was happening in the United States for last 4 years or so, and the entire subject might be very complex if we would break it down, and this video would be too long, right? Let's progress. Let's touch on what might be a real problem, right? We were covering a lot of articles. What may or may not be a real problem is overall manufacturing sector and our industry, which is shrinking at a fast rate in 11 months in winter chilled, right? So that I would believe things need to pick up over here. That's where it needs to a lot of changes happening, right? And opportunities should be created when it comes to manufacturing and overall in some of those industries, right? Which is currently being squeezed, right? From there, let's take a look at, let's touch on perhaps a more positive note, and let's touch on perhaps three different startups. I don't know these companies, but I thought it might be interesting some of those markets. Well, when it comes to startups, there's so much information available up there. Perhaps we might say these project names, but we don't know nothing about these projects, right? So do not make decisions based on any information that we're gonna be taking a look at in today's video, right? Let's start with the first one. Previously, we were, or we had a chance to take a look at how big of the problem might be land and some of the land for tens of years, or perhaps even longer, 50, could be 80 years. No one would be able to do anything with that land, which would be left in terms of area and which potentially could be used for growing food, all those kind of things. But this land might have a lot of mines, right? It could be many countries, perhaps 10, 20, perhaps 30 countries that would have this kind of problem, right? And there's a startup that is potentially taking a look at how to solve this problem, right? There might be ways of non-profits who also is taking a look at this problem, and we were taking a look at a number of those in UK, but in this case we're taking a look at Lithuania and what Lithuania is doing, right? And that would be Vilnius-based Broswarn secures 800,000 to advance next-gen mine detection technology. Okay, I'm reading all this information for the first time, right? A Lithuanian defense tech startup founded in 2023 and specializes in mine detection has secured 800,000 euros in funding for Scale Wolf. Okay, sure. A hybrid accelerator for annual fund to detect tech or defense tech. This funding will accelerate the development of the Brownsworn proprietary X-ray Eagle sensor. Sure, which enhance mine detection by providing clear 3D visualizations from up to 10 meters above ground. Sure, perhaps that would be very good. Alternative systems from satellites, all these kind of things, may or may not be working about 2 meters, right? As well as I have done so much research and trying to understand when it comes to mines and all approvals in Lithuania. Currently, it's very hard to for Lithuania themselves entire sector. Perhaps there's a lot of work being done, as well as preventative measures that would be detecting their own technology, right? Anyway, the sensor technology which earned Brownsworth first place at NATO challenge. I believe we were taking a look at this particular challenge, but anyway, is designed to support safe the mining operations in Ukraine or other war zones as well as former conflict areas, right? Great, since particular agriculture, I would say some of the land could be used for agriculture, but perhaps there's a bigger problem of people still getting injured in some of the conflict areas, all those kind of things. Let's take a look at the next startup. Let's take a look at the next company that would be, again, we're going to be taking a look at some of the startups. I was taking a look at robotics. It's something myself I'm interested in supporting some of the robotic startups. But anyway, so it would be on random. For today, it would be random startups, right? Vilnius-based drone startup, Granta Autonomy, bags 1 million euros to transform reconnaissance missions. That would be Grant Autonomy is an innovative startup specializing in full autonomous UAVs, unmanned area vehicles for intelligence, surveillance, and all reconnaissance missions. Announced the successful completion of its first million seed funding round. Scale Wolf Venture Capital, a leading Lithuanian dual-use tech venture capital fund and accelerator. That the round I don't know all these details. I don't know who's supporting what, where the finances are coming from. I don't know all these details, right? Which participating from Brawl is okay, sure. Defense and all. HFL Holdings, right? Okay, sure. It's good that they're working on this and or similar technologies. Some of the scalable solutions and perhaps the cost of developing some of the technologies and or more work might need to be done. Uh, they may or may not be perhaps five companies, so there should be way more. Some of those companies around the globe launching way more, governments are launching way more startups, right? Five reasonable, 10 would be a sweet spot, right? Let's take a look at next startup. Let's take a look at very expensive area. That would be Vilnius Space Tech. Blackswan Space raised 760,000 euros to pioneer satellite autonomy. That will Blackswan Space, Vilnius based space tech startup developing advanced software products for complex space or defense missions, has secured 760,000 in pre-seed funding round, right? Perhaps they're offering many solutions as well as there might be just where I'm taking this information from. It seems that there might be may or may not be same venture capitalists, right, supporting some of those initiatives. The funding round was led by Scalewolf again, a hybrid accelerator and or fund for defense tech, which participation or with participation from there's the names co-founders and or Nano Avionics, sure. Lemon Stand or Baltic Sandbox Ventures and all. Okay, serious entrepreneurs and or angel investors, right? This field, when it comes to satellites, there should be many governments should be doing more when it comes to satellites and more cost, right? As well as some of these technologies, everyday technologies, and how some of those areas could be improved with more work being done in this area, right? Let's close that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.